How internally it didn't feel good. How somebody who you thought was your friend or somebody who you thought was there for you ended up doing some things that didn't make you feel all right. They hurt. And all you wanted was for them to apologize or for them to make right of the wrongs that had occurred. For the adults, you would want the situation to be remedied. You would want justice to come to you, come to the individuals who were there. You would want justice to come all around. Because in this time frame, the fortunate thing about all of us talking here is that we get to stand up after. We get to chant and we get to drive home and we get to go and see our families. But in these situations, they don't have this time to reflect. In these moments, they're calling out to the deity that they respect, their God. They're calling out to their sibling, their family member, their loved ones who have given them so much. Because in this moment, they can't imagine thinking about anything else in their final moments than calling to the ones that they love. We're fortunate enough right now to be able to reflect and feel what they experienced, but not experience it through them. It's difficult. It's hot. There's so many things going on right now, but we're able to slow things down and put it all into perspective. Every second that passes is excruciating when you're in a situation like this. Police brutality is not something that just happens occasionally. It happens all too frequently. And the rate in which it happens to people of minority groups is obscene. But even if we take that out of the equation and just focus on the fact that there was an injustice that happened and that injustice led to a life being lost, it's chilling. So I'm gonna ask, what time is it? We have 6 more minutes left. 6 more minutes. In the moment of time when this was happening to George Floyd, so many things were going through his mind, and I can only imagine how long these 8 minutes, 9 minutes actually felt. One thing that I was consistently hearing is, well, if you can say you can't breathe, you can breathe. And I think people are missing the point. Yes, I'm using my final breaths to tell you that you're taking my breath away. Think about that. Think about that. The last words that you are able to utter are words to try to save your own life, and they're falling upon deaf ears. This isn't easy. This isn't easy. I understand that it's difficult, and I understand that it's uncomfortable. But we aren't entitled to comfortability just because it's familiar. We see that every day. Just because things are comfortable does not mean that we are entitled to those moments. Because as we've seen all too many times on the news, that comfortability can be stripped away so easily by the people who you expect to be there for you, who you expect to protect you. And I understand. Not everybody is bad. Not every police officer is bad. Not every X, Y, and Z. But if we just let it be one of those things that we forget about after it happens, then people are losing their lives in vain. It's hot. The pressure is here. You are in your final minutes, but you don't even know they're your final minutes. You're hoping that somebody who is standing by will choose to step in, will choose to say something, will choose to do something about the injustice that is happening in public. It's difficult. It's very difficult. I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I know all of the answers. I'm not going to stand here and pretend that when the stories were being told, I wasn't back there feeling choked up inside. Because it doesn't matter what side you're on. Injustice is injustice. Lives lost that shouldn't have been lost are lives lost that shouldn't have been lost. We're reflecting. We get to go back home. We get to stand up. We get to see our family. We get to experience the rest of our lives as we want to, as of right now. If you're religious, that's a blessing. If you're not, feel fortunate. But there shouldn't be time that passes where we don't realize how enriched we are with these opportunities. Because as we've seen, they can disappear in an instant. What's the time? 2 minutes and 48 seconds left. I don't know about you, but this feels like a long time. This feels like a really long time. It's interesting. I'm standing here in front of all of you, and I feel as though I'm having difficulty breathing. Isn't that insensitive? Like, I'm standing here, and I apologize that you feel that way. I'd love to talk about it at some point, but I'm standing here, and it's interesting that I feel verklempt. I feel as though my air is being taken from me as I stand before you, knowing that when I step away from this mic, I can take a deep breath. But this individual was saying that he could not breathe because he knew his life was being taken from him. It's interesting. Reflect. Think. Allow yourself to feel. The way I see it, it doesn't matter if you're here for the protest or if you're here for the counter-protest, you're a human being. I'm not sure if you have a decent amount of humanity inside of you, but as human beings, we feel. We connect to one another through emotions. What's the time? I don't know what the time is. We're going to say it's 1 minute and 30 seconds. Everything can change in an instant. I hope this is a little bit uncomfortable. Because like I said, we're not entitled to comfortability just because it's familiar. We've gotten used to it, and we've adapted to it. But it can be taken in an instant. 40 seconds left. All right.